With my brother, so I'm popping out. I'm moving with my sister, so I'm popping out. My little homie try and bring the chop out. I told him to chill. This a different type of battle.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We back today for the first episode of Judicial Experts. Today we're going to be talking about the things that go on for us as black people in the system, and we just want to bring everything to light because the things that's going on today, especially today, we just got to fix things. It's time for a change. So we got a guest here today. My man's Rich. It's time to introduce yourself.
What's going on, man?
Yo, y'all already know, man. First and foremost, I'm honored to be here.
Pleasure to have you, my
Pleasure
brother.
having
Nah,
you, bro.
thank you. You know, everything's so rich, everything healthy, man. Listen, this is serious. This is a serious issue. Like,
Right,
as y'all know, and as we'll probably get into a little later, I just did 11 flat in the system, right? So I experienced it from the court standpoint to the prison system.
I feel
Right,
you, I
and
feel you.
you know, we can elaborate a little bit later, but listen, thank y'all for having me.
No
Thank y'all for
problem, no
having me.
doubt. All right, so you want to like introduce yourself to the people, give them a little background on where you from, who you are, you know.
Nah, most definitely. My name is Richard Paul, right? Y'all call me Rich. People call me Rich Daddy, Richie Padre. You just call me Rich, though. I'm from Freeport, Long Island, Cashport, stand up. Shout out to the whole Long Island. Shout out to the whole
Shout
New
out
York,
Long
though.
Island.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout
shout
out
out
to
in
Long
Wide.
Island,
Shout out in
man.
Wide. Word.
Most definitely. You know,
building
it's
for
all
sure.
love.
Oh, yeah.
It's all love. And to get a little bit into my story, not to go too deep, I just came home 2 months ago from an 11 flat sentence, right? And I got to come home a little earlier because while I was incarcerated, I got my college degree. So that enabled me to come home 6 months earlier, right?
Blessings,
And
bro. That's good, man.
most definitely, thank you. But you know, before that, you know, I'm knee deep in the streets, knee deep in the field, right? And you know, unfortunately, we know what comes with that, right? So my prison time was a result of that, and I take accountability for that. Nonetheless, there's some things that transpired along the way within that process, going through the judicial system, going through the penal system, that nobody should have to experience. And that's a big reason why I'm here today, right? Because if somebody don't say something, if we don't talk about it, if we don't exploit the judicial system, right?
fixed.
And the oppression that transpires within it, then it's just going to keep happening.
Well, it's not gonna be fixed. It's not gonna be fixed.
Not
So,
going to be fixed.
we
And I
need
salute
change.
y'all for that.
yeah, same,
Yeah,
bro.
it's
So,
definitely time for a change.
so today, we're just going to ask you a couple of questions. You know, just see how it was. You know, the experience for you going through court and being in jail and experience it. Just tell us how that was. Do you know like the difference between racism and like sternness?
Nah, most definitely, man. I mean, the thing about it is this, right? When I think of racism, I think a lot of times, or at least for me, it's a big difference between prejudice and racism,
Word.
right? And I think a lot of times, we misconstrue the two.
You want to get into that?
Most definitely.
Elaborate.
Yeah, that's bro.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's get into it.
Most definitely, so when we think of prejudice, right, that's like a bias, right, to discriminate against somebody for a specific reason, say the color of their skin,
Correct.
right? So that's what, but when we talk about racism, right, we talk about systems that have been put into play,
That's a Fendi.
right, as a result of this prejudice.
That's a
Right, so I'm not only discriminating against you, I'm not only viewing you in a negative light or as inferior because of something like this, the color of your skin, right? But I'm also keeping you down, right? Because of this reason, I'm keeping you oppressed, right? And the criminal justice system is one of many systems that that are a part of this systemic racism that transpires in this country and all that, right? So, as a matter of fact, when I was talking to my brother Most, one of the things that he was really elaborating on was like, yo, listen, right now it's a lot of awareness going on with the Black Lives Matter
definitely,
movement,
most definitely.
right? It finally, this been transpiring. Police brutality, one issue that's is a part of this whole systemic racism thing. It's been happening,
Been going on. It's
right?
just like
But
beginning of time.
since you dig it, but
Yeah.
right now people are believing it because they
Now
seeing
they see.
it
Now they
back
see.
to they seeing what we've been experiencing back to back
Hundreds
to back,
of years.
hundreds of years. And like the straw that broke the camel's back was the George Floyd situation.
Rest in
Rest in
peace.
peace,
Yeah,
George.
rest in-
Officer Thomas Lane pulls his gun and points it at a noticeably startled and scared Floyd.
Rest in peace, George Floyd. Man.
Condolences to his family, man.
Condolences to his family, right? But now, when we see how that's like the modern day lynching, a lot of times people call it when an officer could gun you down for nothing more than the color of your skin and not be held accountable at all. But it's other ways of lynching you. It's other ways of hanging you. It's other ways of killing you. And one of those other ways is through the prison system. Right? So you coming for something, whether it's light or it's heavy, when your skin color is black, you are criminalized and you are penalized on a much higher level than if you're a white person. Right? And as a result, metaphorically, a lot of people die behind those walls before they even physically die. That's another way of hanging us and all that. And that's something else that needs to be exploited, that needs to be highlighted. Right? Like we need to change this criminal justice system. We need to have better ways of dealing with the people in our community because they're in prison. The reason they are in prison is because a lot of times many crimes stem from need, right? Needs that are not being met. Needs that our society knows that our people have, but they still refuse or they still will not acknowledge them.
Right.
It's a fact.
Right? Inferior public schools, food deprivation. The list goes on. And if we're not attacking these core issues, then it's like you leaving the people out there for dead to fend for themselves. And when they fend for themselves, you come in and you throwing away the key and you penalizing them and you never fixing the original problem in the first place.
Right. So, you guys got any questions for Rich?
Man, I just want to put this one thing out there. Man, as black people, we face discrimination in the legal system. Not only, but the system is rigged to get you locked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Most definitely.
it's rigged like for us to get locked up, so we'll be oppressed.
Most definitely.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's meant for us black men to get locked up and to do that time so we can't vote, can't have a gun. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want.
Most
They
definitely.
want to take away our rights as a man and as a woman. How you gonna get a job if you a felon?
That's a fact.
That's what they want.
You can't.
That's what they want.
Most definitely.
So
Very
we
difficult.
really got to get this podcast got to blow up. It got to be shed to the light because this injustice and the racism is not nice. It's not right.
Man, it's more than just like just bringing things to light. We trying to like actually start a movement because I feel that when you put things out there, it all like depends on how the people react. And I feel with this type of situation, the people going to react in a way that we will want them to react because it's a serious topic, you know. Like we like I would say as a whole, black men and women, we just face problems that many other races wouldn't face on a daily basis. And it's sad to say that because of the skin of our color. And we just need to change things with that because that's not right. God made us all to be family. Like, we're not supposed to be how we are. We it's like a war between us and a different race, and that's not how it was meant to be.
Violence is not the answer.
Well said.
Y'all got any more questions?
Let's see. Rich,
Yes,
this one for you. Did the racism end in the courtroom?
That's a man. I'm free right now. Racism still ain't. But answer your question. Nah, not at all. Not at all. You know, from the courtroom, you going to these upstate prisons,
Word.
right? And the majority of the prison population is black and brown. Large majority of the prison population is black and brown. However, the majority of the officers are white,
Right.
right? A lot of us come from certain urban areas, right? But the majority of these officers never been to one of our neighborhoods. They don't understand the things that we experience. They don't understand the ways that we grow up, we are raised, right? But they're put, quote unquote, in charge of us, right?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be custody, care, and control, but it's straight oppression, right? So I'm just thinking about prison right now, and I'm like, damn, it's a blessing that I even made it out.
I got I got a question.
How
was it to like feel to be in prison and stuff like that?
What you mean?
Like sitting there, like doing like whatever stuff like that.
I mean, prison is a horrible, horrible place. It was one of the most worst experiences that I personally have experienced, right? However, in the midst of that, I guess horribleness, you know, I grew, right? I grew, and I could say that prison is a horrible place, but at the end of the day, it's like anything else in life. It is what you make it. The cards are stacked against you, right? So you hundreds of miles away from your family. You isolated, and you isolated around people who do not have your best interests, right? You isolated within a system, a machine where your voice means nothing, right? So the first time I ever went to the box, I got into a situation with an officer. At the end of the day, he was completely out of pocket, but you know, when it's their word against our word,
It's always
our word
do what they want.
Our word means nothing, right? So me and the officer got into a little verbal dispute. The verbal dispute turned physical. A few of them hopped on me. One of them sprained their ankle, other one sprained their knee, and I went to the box for that. And it's a blessing that I ain't catch a new charge, right? But the camera, only reason I ain't catching new charge because the facility that I was in, 5 Points, is cameraed out. So the camera saw them hop on me. One grabbed my ankle, one grabbed my arm, one grabbed my other arm, one grabbed my other ankle. But you know, growing up, we've been fighting our whole life. So I know how to just twist my body a certain way or whatever, and you know, they start falling and things start happening. But the camera saw that I didn't swing, right? Like, they tripped over their own feet. They stumbled. They injured themselves, so to speak. And that's what saved me. That was a blessing.
Right.
But from that one experience right there, that put me on point because I said, yo, listen, you already in here for 11-year sentence. You want to turn that into 15? You want to turn that into 20? I had a son. Right now, my son is 13. At the time, my son was 4.
That's a blessing.
5. It's a blessing, but it was very painful for him to be away from his father. Extremely painful for me.
Had to be.
Right? So, yeah, you know, I guess to answer your question, I say this. They say prison could be a tomb or a cocoon. It could be a tomb because you could be dead. Even if you're alive, you could be dead. You're dead to the world. You give up on yourself, you're dead to yourself. But it also could be a cocoon, right? Because butterflies don't always start off as butterflies. Right, they got to go through that process, larva, cocoon, and if they make it through the process, they become something beautiful. They become something that they never experienced. They become something that they never were. Adversity. Through that adversity, you grow.
That's facts. So can you give us like a quick little rundown of like, do you think it was different? Like, so I know that there's obviously there's many races in jail. So like, do you think there was like you guys and like different races were treated different? Like, do you think there was like favorites, or you think anything was out of place?
I mean, throughout the whole criminal justice system, black people and white people were always treated differently. In the courtroom, they're treated differently.
Do all prisoners get treated the same? Nah, right?
Nah, hell no.
That's what I'm saying.
Can you go more into depth with that?
I mean, listen, it's like this, right? So, my bro used to always say, it's cops and robbers, right? So you don't got to be a robber right? But once you don that uniform, once you don that green, it's a line. It's and it's not only on our side, it's on their side too. Like they look at us like animals. They try to treat us like animals at the end of the day. So if that's how you looking at me. That's how you treating me. Like that's how I'm looking at you too. Like I'm looking at you the same way, right? So you know, you got that mind frame, and then you got you got certain prisoners who want to be up under the officers, right? So of course we get treated different. Of course, it's just many different types, but just those two right there, you're gonna get treated differently.
Right.
At the end of the day, you got individuals that may listen, man. I don't knock nobody for whatever they do, but people gonna treat you the way that you allow them to treat you. And at the same time, you got to be smart enough to know when to hold them, when to fold them. Your life is on the line. You got your mother out there who you don't know when she gonna pass away. You hoping and you praying that you make it back before she die. You got your children out there, like I mentioned. You got your grandmother out there, maybe fighting cancer, like mine, this, that, and the third. You got the people that you love the most in the world on the other side of the gates waiting for you. So your movements have to. You can't just move off an emotion. Oh, he did something to me. I'm mad. I'm reacting. Right. So you got to know when. Listen, you're not gonna violate me. I'm not accepting that. As a man, and you got to know when I'm not going to allow you to trick me out of my freedom. I'm not going to allow you to trick me out of my blessings. So you got to be able to balance. You got to be able to create that balance in your mind and understand what it is that you want as a person. When I was in prison, I knew I formulated an idea of what I wanted, right? And then all of my movements were geared towards what I want. I not only want freedom, I want a degree. I want something that's going to say, listen, automatically when people see me, they got something to judge me off of without knowing me. What's that? My felony, right? Multiple felonies. So in my mind, I said, all right, listen, I want to earn something to combat that, right? And in a society like what we live in right now, that's that college degree. So at the end of the day, you can educate yourself without college.
That's a fact.
However, for me, that degree was like, yo, listen, this is something that you also can use to judge me before you even know me, but something positive.
I feel you, bro. That's a great way to look at that. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And you said you earned your college degree while you were in jail, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about that little process right there? Like, how was that for you?
Do
you think it was the same, or you think it was a little bit different?
Listen, that was a blessing, man. It was a blessing.
Of course.
Man. I got my college degree through the Cornell Prison Education Program at 5 Points Correctional Facility. But the reason I say it was a blessing because it reminded me of humanity. Like I said, I'm
college, right?
We not just college, the people.
Word.
We in the belly of the beast.
That's a fact.
So, like I said, the officers on it, how they on it, and we in an environment where, like, you know, every day, like, you think about survival, whether it don't gotta just be from physical violence. How you gonna eat? Is that bread in there? Are you gonna get a chance to eat or not?
Fight for your food.
I mean, it happens, but not necessarily even that. Because if you go, you know how to move, right? But just more so, like, if you don't got no money, you're not eating. Right? That food is horrible. So you think so that's one form of survival, like just that mental stability, right? Moving on, 5 years in, 10 years in, 15 years in. Then how much more days I gotta go, right? You gotta fight for your mental, right? You gotta survive on many different planes, many different aspects. And yeah.
Rich, I got another question for you.
What's up?
What was the longest amount of time you spent in the box, and did that like put a mental toll on you? I hear a lot of people talk about that.
I mean, me personally, the longest I was 45 days.
45 days?
Yeah.
Does that mess with your head?
Not me.
You had a celly, or you was just in the box alone?
I had a bunkie at times, and at other times, like, you know, bunkies would come and go. But, you know, it's brothers that really, like, that's not really a lot of time. Well, let me not say that is a lot of time, but it's normalized, right? Me being in that environment so long, 30 days, 45 days, that's normalized.
Yeah, somebody else in here that been in there.
That's not. Yeah, somebody go from the streets to the box for 45 days. That's nuts.
Okay.
Right? But I got brothers that 1 year, 2 years, 3
My
years in
brother
the
got
box.
time in the box.
Huh?
My brother did time in the box.
That's what I'm saying. So that's a whole different type of mental fight right there. That's a whole.
That's
different.
another way. That's another way they oppress us.
Most definitely, without a doubt.
Now that's messing with you mentally.
Without a doubt.
Did you see like that happen to other black men while you were in prison?
What's that?
Like what's on?
So, like the mind,
Yeah, like have you seen like
the mind
Yeah.
games. The box playing mind games on people.
have you seen it like
Yeah.
change people? And,
Yeah,
like,
most definitely. Listen, man. Coming from the box and just being in prison, period. Like you see, like a lot of dudes will tell you about that med line, the medicine line, the medicine line. You know, individuals like the psych men, the psychotropic men, and all that. So like individuals will be incarcerated for so long for whatever reason, like they start taking that medicine, psychotropic meds, and that messes with your mental, right? But sometimes it's just like, yo, I just want to escape. Enough is enough. I just want to escape. That's one way that our mentals get distorted. Another way our mentals get distorted, and my mental was distorted in this way, is that, listen, this is where I'm at. This is life. Right?
Yeah.
So when you get so engulfed in life on the inside, which is your life, you gotta be on point. You kind of forget about life on the outside. When I say forget about, you don't just forget about it, but
You just fade away.
unconsciously, it's like you forget about it, right? Because now, if I can't get on that phone, me and you gonna have static. Dude might be ready to stab you over the phone, not knowing, like, yo, listen, hold on. When I make it home, I got a cell phone.
Where
Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
the things that are really, a lot of times we lose sight over the things that are truly, truly important on the outside because it's just our lifestyle, not every day on the inside. So when I came home, that's one of the things that I always relay back to my bros that's behind the wall. Like, yo, that's just an illusion. Don't fall for it. Of course, stand on your own too, stand firm, but don't get caught up in an illusion as to where you throw away the opportunity that we have on the outside because of some bozo or some slip up on the inside, right? So yeah, most definitely.
You just gotta be the bigger person.
Just gotta be the smarter person.
Smarter person.
You gotta be the person that know what they want in life, right? And can still stand firm in his own too, but is smart enough to avoid the bozo, right? Smart enough to avoid the person who doesn't realize what they have to lose. You know what you gotta lose.
Yeah.
Everybody got something to lose. Everybody don't know that they got something to lose. If you got breath, you got something to lose, right? But yeah.
So I got one more question for you.
Talk to me, brother.
So with everything being said in this interview today, what if there were some things that you can change? What would you change and how would you go on about it?
I don't think I got enough time to mention everything, but like I said, problem versus symptom. This whole system is built on the symptom, but it never addresses the problem. Excuse me.
you straight, bro.
Right. So when I say the symptoms is, I do get locked up. You punish the dude for getting locked up, but you never address the issues that may have pushed him to do whatever it is he did in the first place. Right. So like our education system, especially in a lot of black and brown underprivileged neighborhoods, like underfunded public schools and all that. Right. We need to do something about that.
For real.
That's a fact.
Right. But I'm like this. I'm like this. At the end of the day, as much as I feel like just the government or whatever should do the right thing for the people, I already know they not. But my thing is like, listen, before we look to the president of the United States, let's look to the president of our household. Right? Like, if he or she is not there, let's become that president. Let's become that example that we want to see. Let's become that change that we want to see. When people see you moving, people are gonna follow suit. At the end of the day, we need to come together and understand that all we need is unity.
That's
right?
a fact.
We don't need
Definitely.
people to come give us a handout. Listen, we'll figure it out, but first we need to come together at the end of the day, and just become organized, man. And show and just show the people and show ourselves that, yo, listen, we self-sufficient, we independent, we kings, we queens, we able to do whatever it is that we need to do. So we need to educate, and to get back to your questions, we need to educate ourselves, We need to educate our little ones. Need to educate each other.
Right.
First and foremost.
Facts.
Like what y'all doing right now. This is a platform to educate the people. Everybody don't know about the judicial system and the oppression that transpires within it. Right? To double back on what you said, but some things I would change the educational system. I would put culturally relative pedagogy, right?
We need a class on police brutality.
We need a class on police brutality. We need a class on Black history. We need a class on African history.
Yeah, because I feel they don't show us anything about like Black history. I think you guys are
1 month.
What was it? The Black Wall Street, I believe. They was talking about that, something like that. I didn't. There was something that I didn't know about, but they were supposed to teach us in school, but I was never taught that. I had to learn from someone else, and I didn't know about this until everything that started happening in the country, like after the George Floyd situation. This is when I found this out. I don't know too much about it. Like I forgot.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Wall Street, the Black Wall Street.
The Black Wall
That was
Street.
bombed.
Yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Greenwood,
Yeah.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, the
AKA Black Wall Street, originally called Negro Wall Street.
Yeah, I feel
That's,
like
that's some. That was organization being built right there in the community.
That was
destroyed.
That was a community.
Destroyed.
That was a
Completely
community with a number of organizations.
completely destroyed.
And-
15 supermarkets.
and this is not talked about in
Hospitals.
school, and I feel like this should be talked about in
Never
school.
learned that in school.
Never learned it.
Yeah, 'cause they
Not
don't
in
want you to
public.
know that. They don't want you to know that.
And I want it. I feel like the more that you know, the more dangerous you are. I feel like that's
Yeah,
how they
the
feel.
more sharper you are.
That's the more sharper you are.
Yeah, the more,
Yeah.
and like you said, they view us the more dangerous you are,
They-
because now you know what we've been
danger to
doing
them.
for you
We're dangerous
for
to them.
centuries and all that.
Man.
They don't want you to know about Black Wall Street, Ottawa W. Gurley, John the Baptist Stratford. Yeah, it's funny that y'all said that. I just taught a class on Black Wall Street to a bunch of young people and their parents.
That's good.
Y'all could catch that on So Rich TV on the YouTube channel So Rich TV. I
Make
went
sure
through the
y'all go
whole
check that
history
out. Make sure
of
y'all
the
go check
Black
that
Wall
out.
Street and all that, because that's important, right? Ottawa W. Gurley, John the Baptist Stratford, the two individuals responsible for the cultivation of Black Wall Street. They originally copped the land that eventually developed into Black Wall Street, 40 plus acres and all that. Right? So yeah, you see it.
Oh, say it again. Say it again. Say it again. man.
Wall
Say it in the
Street.
camera. Tell them.
Black Wall Street.
Yeah, we about to talk about Black Wall Street, right? First residence. Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, aka Black Wall Street. Ottawa W. Gurley, John the Baptist.
That's a fact. No
Subscribe,
capping.
bro.
No capping.
Make sure y'all go check that
So
out.
y'all go subscribe. Show Rich TV.
Get them
So Rich
tuned.
TV, Instagram, So Rich TV, everything So Rich. That's what we doing. And we focus. We focus, man.
Definitely.
We focus.
Y'all got any more questions today for Rich
Now I think that about wraps it up.
for this episode? All right. Well, we're gonna thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into this first episode of
God
Judicial
bless y'all.
Exploits. There's definitely gonna be some more coming soon. We're gonna have some more guests in here, and we hope to see you guys soon.
Thank y'all
Alright.
for having me,
Thank
man.
Nah,
Thank
thank
you. I
you, Rich,
appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Rich.
Young
Good luck, man,
Rich,
for coming.
young kings, man. Everything So Rich. I
Definitely,
appreciate
definitely.
y'all, man.
Gotta come back,
Put
man.
it there.
Standing with my brothers, so I'm
Make sure y'all go check that out, man.
moving with my sister, so I'm popping out. My little homie try and bring the chop out. I told him to chill. This a different type of battlefield. I'm moving with my people, so we popping out. They don't wanna treat us equal, then we